So, guys, I was doing my usual thing. I was watching Batman the Animated Series, and I was watching Season 1, Episode 9, Joker's Favor. And the actions here in this beginning part, and his outfit with the hat, something about it, it really reminded me of this villain from literary fiction as well, Judge Holden from Blood Meridian, Cormac McCarthy. And I wondered to myself, I don't know if there's some connection between the two, you know? They both got quite a bit in common, right? As I kind of list here. And so I'm thinking, okay, what if the Joker was inspired by Judge Holden? Because I'm thinking Judge Holden's from a book. I know the book takes place in about, like, I think 1800, anywhere from 1890 to 1920, like the Wild West era. And as I looked it up, what's this? Oh yeah, and then it got me thinking, if Judge Holden inspired the Joker, maybe he inspired all these other guys that were like bad guys that mainly were white. But turns out no. Turns out Joker was actually the one to come first here. And so that got me thinking, huh. Like I wonder if Cormac McCarthy read DC Comics at all. And no, he didn't. Well, he might have. He probably knew who the Joker was, but probably not. No, there's just nothing about it. There's nothing about it. So I could be onto something I could not be. But still, this left me thinking, like, oh, yeah. And then the more I thought about this pair, like pairing these two characters together, the more it didn't really fit. Because, like, when you think about the thing, right, the thing here is counterparts, right? Batman has the Joker, and the Joker, simultaneously at the same time, has Batman. And that runs into a problem when we're talking about Judge Holden, because he doesn't have a counterpart. There's nothing there to really, like, help him along. There's no yin to his yang. And that's the point of that story. Judge Holden more so acts as a force of nature in the first place. And Joker does too, to a certain extent, but there is no counter nature to him. That's the point. He is all oppressive. It's an anti-Western, right? So then I really got thinking about it. I'm like, okay. If the literary counterpart to the Joker isn't Judge Holden like I think it was, then who is the literary counterpart to Joker? And better yet, who is the Joker? And then it's when I was really kind of asking this to myself. Because the whole point of the Joker is that the Joker's in-canon origin is never known. But, who is the Joker and who is the Joker's literary counterpart? I thought for a while, I'm like, is it Dracula? Is it Iago? ChatGPT said it was Iago. I'm like, I don't know who that is quite yet. Still very new into my classic journey, alright? Moby Dick. And then I remembered something. When thinking back to my question, like, who is the Joker? I remembered this poster from Batman Return of the Joker. And I remember seeing this, like, one short or one YouTube video or something. And it explained that the reason why the Joker's face is green behind him is because they're paying homage to the Joker's original inspiration all the way back in 1940. What the comic writers saw that then made them think, we're going to make a guy called the Joker, was a silent film. That silent film was called The Man Who Laughs. Now, the thing about The Man Who Laughs, you might recognize the name right in front of it, Victor Hugo. That means The Man Who Laughs was originally a Victor Hugo book. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I can look through the main character here, and he's smiling all the time, and I'm looking into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we found our guy. I think we found our suspect. But then there's one problem with that though. Um, he's not a bad guy. I really thought he'd be a bad guy. I thought the whole point was that he would be creepy in a silent film. He's smiling all the time. But no, he's a tragic, bitter hero. So I'm just going. I'm like, dang it, right? I really thought this through. I thought that was going to be the key. But then I'm like, there was one other character I was considering that the more and more I thought about it, and the more and more I really thought about the Joker, right? Is it made me land on this final character. Coming up right here from the depths of hell himself. I hope I pronounced his name right. Mephistopheles from the book Faust. And his gist though is that he's basically a demon. So the first thing I'm thinking about is, okay, I want him to have a counterpart because that's what Judge Holden was kind of missing. And oh boy, did he, but we're not going to get to that yet. So, who is this guy? He's a demon, a real trickster, and he ends up tricking the main character Faust into apparently doing a bunch of stuff and kind of nudging him in certain directions, then nudging other characters in certain directions. He basically masterminds the whole thing. So, that's very similar to the Joker. If you've seen The Dark Knight, you kind of know how he orchestrates everything there. Ordered chaos that ends up benefiting him, which is how I like my villains, and that's how I think villains kind of should be. But back to that question I said earlier, does he have a counterpart? And the answer is, of course he does. What are the biblical angels? What is the biblical God himself but Mephistopheles' counterpart? I mean, those kinds of forces would definitely be acting on him. We don't see too much of it in the book, as I think. I haven't read Faust yet, but doing this video makes that want to be my next read. But with everything I can find about it, it doesn't seem like too much this happens. But he does have an enemy. He does have forces to fight. Even the main character Faust himself does try to resist Mephistopheles' like intents. And then that got me thinking about the Joker a bit more. Okay, so he's a manipulator, he's a demon. Why does that make him a good counterpart for the Joker exactly? Well, the thing is, the Joker is quite a bit changed since his original inception in 1940. In fact, and I'm not trying to do anything with the movie Jokers. I am an original comic book fan. I'm doing the comic book Joker. And there are some really weird habits with the comic book Joker. There's word or something that he might have been alive since like the 1920s. He has bits from the Pool of Dionysium. So he's dipped into the Lazarus pit. You cannot get rid of him. And that kind of makes him almost just as of an immortal terror, really, to Batman, as this guy is. So in a lot of ways, they are very similar. And even considering things like the Absolute Universe, where Joker is literally like the shape of a demon, and considering like the end of Arkham Asylum, where he literally there is a lot of demonic allegories between the Joker and within the Joker. That's alarming. Like, people say I don't know. And there's also this weird thing where the Joker knows what happens pre-crisis. Like, all the crisis events, he still remembers everything. So he does have a bit of that cosmic kind of horror to his insanity. So the more and more I thought about the Joker, and the more and more I thought about this character as I researched him, the more things were lining up. So, that's my conclusion. Sorry, I kind of baited you with the title there, but no. Joker's counterpart, I believe, is Mephistopheles. Alright, that's the video. I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3 to this on different comic book characters. If you have more comic book characters you want me to find literary counterparts to, just comment that down below. I am planning to do one about the Hulk in Frankenstein and Ultron and Am next. Alright, thank you so much. Bye.